Oh, yeah. Okay, go live. Okay. Going live. Going live. Okay, hello everyone. I don't know how long you guys were able to see me there. Whether I was on screen for ages or no time at all. But I'm here now, and I'm here to discuss a topic that has been on my mind for a very long time. It's that time of year again where I complain about Doctor Who marketing. For some reason, I can't see anyone in chat despite you guys popping in the stream here. So do me a favour, if you are here, you can hear me, just say hello. It would be appreciated. Hello to the Cyber Leader, WHUFC. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Hello to Alternate 13th, Something Strange YT, Ethan, Lewis Frisbee, oh you're all coming in now, Adzinko, hello to all of you. Oh, they're really popping in now. George A, complaining about Doctor Who, so I'm here, yes. You know, me complaining about Doctor Who, I've never done that before. How novel. No, but in all seriousness, I've wanted to get this off my chest for like quite some time. So hello to Just Joe 98, Luke Bichelle, Vortex 257, Alternate 13th. Alright, we'll get some people in. Lewis G, Kathy A, Randall Wilson, Roomba Wars Tyler, Una Broxeman, The Who Fandom, Henry Stevens. Hello to all of you. I hope you're doing fantastically. There isn't really like most of my streams I wait until there's like substantial news for me to go live really, because it's the only time, that I think I could justify going live. But I wanted to basically have a bit of a rant, if nothing else, about just the state of Doctor Who marketing, where we're at right now, and why I think it's not really a good thing, and why I think it might be detrimenting the show as a whole and the show generally. And no matter how I try and slice it, I just can't seem to justify some of the things they're doing. But let's get into it. So, obviously, as you all will know, you can let me know in chat if you remember this. On the 25th of July, we got the Series 13 panel, and we got the Series 13 initial teaser. I mean, some places called it a trailer, some places called it a teaser, but it was basically our first proper look at Doctor Who Series 13. And at the time, I was one of the few people, you can go back, you can watch my entire reaction to that Comic-Con panel. I was one of the few people to say, yeah, that was a bit underwhelming, didn't really do a lot for me, and a lot of people at the time said, oh, no, don't worry, this is just the setup, this is the, this is like the taster for Series 13 marketing that's to come. And we're now over 2 months removed from that event, 2 months removed from that Comic-Con panel, and we still haven't had anything more. And I get to the point now where I'm wondering, and this is just me, I'm not saying that this is the case, I want to say this is just entirely me complaining. This is why it's called complaining about Doctor Who Series 13 marketing. It's entirely my opinion. I'm not saying any of this is fact. But it does feel to me like they're just sort of trying to quietly shuffle Series 13 out the door, and not make that much of a fuss over it. That's the vibe. That's the vibe I've sort of been getting, because I've noticed there's an interesting trend where whenever basically we get a piece of Series 13 information, a piece of information that's not strictly Series 13 related closely follows it. So what do I mean by this? Well, we've got, for example, we had the Series 13 panel and trailer, which I mentioned earlier. And then 4 days later, on the 29th, it was announced that Jodie and Chris Chibnall were leaving in a trio of specials in 2022, including, that was where we got the centenary announcement. And that was like, it was interesting at the time, but that was the first example of basically a piece of Series 13 information being overshadowed by a larger piece of Doctor Who information. And this then happened again only recently, on the 24th, when we of course got the amazing announcement that RTD was returning as a showrunner for Doctor Who. But not only that, we also got the ending of Find the Doctor with the Judy Wick's 13th Doctor saying, don't worry, there's going to be some Series 13 news very soon, whenever very soon is. And that basically got entirely overshadowed by the RTD announcement. Now, I know that people did say, and someone's probably typing in chat as I'm saying this, that that was because it was about to leak. So they put that out for that reason. And that could very well be the case. But it does strike me as odd that whenever there is a piece of Series 13 information, some non-Series 13 information is close to follow. And they don't use one to bolster the other. What I mean by that is, for example, we had the RTD announcement, and that caused Doctor Who to trend multiple times throughout the day. So you would think that, you know, the BBC, they'd be like, oh, this is a great time to put out a trailer for Series 13, or a piece of promo image, or something like that. And they didn't. And I was like, that seems like a bit of an odd strategy. And I'm starting to wonder whether it's all intentional now, whether they're just sort of trying to focus on the RTD, the new RTD era, and just sort of get this one out the door, get it out the way. You know what I mean? I'll just read some of the chat for a minute. Someone's saying, I'm expecting something again today at 6 p.m. Honestly, I wouldn't get your hopes up at this point, because it just feels, I genuinely believe, and this is my honest view, like the secrecy policy and the just refusal to share anything at any point is actively, like, it's detrimenting hype towards Series 13. And when you've got people speculating that it's all intentional, it's all this big scheme, which I'm not saying it is, but, like, when you've got people theorizing that, then that kind of says a lot about the position of where your marketing is right now, when people are thinking that it's maybe an intentional ploy to try and take away focus. Like, I don't know, it's the thing is, Series 13 wrapped ages ago. I think the specials have almost wrapped now as well, so it's like, you know, we're at a point now where it's not too early at all to expect marketing. Like, that's a common argument I see all the time. I see it all the time on Twitter. Oh, it's too early. There's only so many times you can say it's too early for something to start until you've eventually got to realise that it has to start at some point. So William Hu there says, I think what will happen is we won't get an official Series 13 air date announcement. It will just be revealed in BBC's America Guide tomorrow, and YouTubers will cover it, and that's it. No announcement. Honestly, wouldn't be too surprised by that. And I think if that does happen, it's kind of emblematic of a problem. There's no ceremony to Doctor Who anymore. You know what I mean? There's no sort of grand feeling towards when Doctor Who comes out. It just sort of feels like a thing that exists now. You know what I mean? It doesn't really feel special anymore. And I understand that the BBC, I think they want to treat it like any other BBC show. At least that's the vibe I'm getting. But if you're going to do that, commit to that, because when sometimes they'll say things like, oh, you know, we'll treat it like just a, you know, there's things that imply that they treat it just like every other BBC show, you know, hence the marketing being very similar. And then they'll say other things like, we're trying to get to compete with Netflix and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, which is it then? Because if you want to compete with Netflix, you're not doing a very good job. Because Stranger Things has had multiple trailers at this point, and so have a lot of their other shows, and they are farther away from releasing than Doctor Who is. And listen, I understand that the BBC, you know, like another common argument I see is that the BBC haven't got the budget. The issue I take with that is that Series 13's already filmed. It literally costs them nothing to edit a few pieces together, bam, another trailer's out. It really does cost them nothing at this point. And I do get, like, I'm just starting to get a bit frustrated by the constant just, ooh, there could be a thing on this day and it just doesn't happen. Granted, that is somewhat fans' fault for hyping up certain days that just doesn't happen. But also, I just think there have been so many opportunities that they've just missed. So many golden opportunities that the show has kind of needed. Because I think what people forget is that, like, this is a Doctor's last series. Once this is over, once Series 13 and the specials are over, Jodie Whittaker's gone. That is it. And it just sort of feels like there's someone's just driving past. There's no ceremony for it, you know what I mean? There's no sort of build-up. It just feels flat, you know what I mean? Series 4 trailer came out like 3 months before the first episode. There's literally no excuse for this season when it's already done filming. Exactly. You're spot on. I'm not asking for 3 months though. You know, at this point, I think the thing I thought as well with the Series 12 trailer was the Series 12 trailer was actually kind of what I was talking about, in that it actually shows Cybermen, it actually shows Jadoon, it actually gives you things to be excited for. The issue with that, however, is that they waited until a month before the series came out to start actually releasing it. And it's like, they just don't seem to have learned that a month isn't enough time. A common argument I see is that, okay, well, things like Line of Duty, they start promotion like maybe a couple of weeks before the program airs, stuff like that. What makes Doctor Who any different? And the thing that makes this different is that unlike those shows, Doctor Who doesn't really have a main ongoing plot that keeps people invested. I guess you could count The Timeless Child, but there's a couple of things with that. Number one, it's not always the focus of the show. There were plenty of episodes in Series 12 where those episodes they were basically filler episodes, and they were treated as such by the show itself. And then the other argument is that with the Timeless Child arc specifically, there's a large proportion of the fan base who does not like that arc. And I understand that you can't cater to everyone in the fan base, but I also think that if you're laying all your eggs in that basket, then it's not going to work for everyone. And you're laying your eggs in a basket that's not even guaranteed to be liked, particularly, by the audience that you have. And I'm just like, just showing some shots of the cast is not enough to maintain fan interest. It just isn't. There's a reason that, basically the entire conversation about Doctor Who I think it says a lot that the entire conversation around Doctor Who has basically entirely shifted to the RTD, the new RTD era, because they've actually given us stuff to get excited for over that. And I think it says a lot that we're more excited for a series in 2023 or 2024 than we are for the one that's theoretically coming out next month. I think it says a lot. When RTD comes back, the BBC will suddenly be like, this is our best show. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I almost feel like that's what they're waiting for. I feel like the thing is, what happened with the RTD announcement was there was people on Twitter saying, don't, talk about RTD too soon. We've got, another series of Jodie Whittaker and stuff. And I was just like, well, I wish the BBC would I wish someone would tell the BBC that, because you can't expect an audience to be excited and hyped up for something if it doesn't even feel like the company making the thing is, I've seen a lot of people compare Doctor Who to Sex Education, but they are different shows. Sex Education got away with 2 weeks of promotion, but Who is different. It's more like Marvel and Star Wars. Exactly. Again, with Sex Education as well, it's got characters and, arcs and plots that people want to follow. So, people will wait for that. But the thing with Doctor Who is that it's not really the same. It's kind of a lot more self-contained, generally speaking. The plots are a lot more... They don't really, cross-intersect from week to week. I mean, to be fair, Series 13 will do that. But my point is, there's not really a reason beyond The Timeless Child for, the fan base to really be looking forward to Series 13 at the minute. And as I said, not all the fan base is even guaranteed to like that or know what it is. The general audience, I still think, are probably really confused by the whole Timeless Child thing. So again, as I said, putting all your eggs in that basket seems like a poor move. Yeah, I know, fans just like season is classic, series is new. Yeah, that's how we sort of differentiate. Although I've done it before, I've said season for the new series, it's just something that happens. You just said my point. Well, I'm sorry if I messed that. They really messed up the marketing for Series 13. Everyone is now talking about RTD. Exactly, and I'm starting to wonder if that's an intentional thing, though. I'm starting to wonder if they want that. My feeling is that the BBC knows it has been a colossal... it has a colossal did on its hands. I think that means dead on its hands with Series 13. So they're trying to focus attention on the next era. That's the vibe I get. That is kind of the vibe I've been getting. But obviously, whenever you do say that, people are like, why would they not want to promote something that they've spent money on? It's I get that, but they get... the BBC get money for programmes anyway. So it's a situation where, I think the BBC themselves are much more interested in this next era than they are this one. And I think if... I said this on Twitter the other day. I'll read out what I said. I won't put it on screen because I've got into the flow of my speaking now. But I said this the other day. What was it I said? I basically was complaining on Twitter about the marketing, because I often do, because it's getting on my nerves. So, where was it? Somewhere here. Here we go. So, here's what I said. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I just can't help but get the sense that the BBC have written off the current era of the show altogether. They not only completely overshadowed remaining offerings for the Find the Doctor with the RTD announcement, but then, when Doctor Who was trending due to that announcement, when it would have been literally the perfect moment to put out something Series 13 related, they decided not to. I just feel sorry for Jodie Whittaker at this point. She's not even the main focus during her final series. I'm not an expert, far from it, but ultimately, if you give off the impression that you're not really interested in the thing that you're currently trying to market, and would much rather focus on the next thing, then the audience is going to feel the exact same way. That, to me, is like the biggest summarization of the marketing at the minute. It's much more interested in the next era than it is this one. And you can't expect fans to not feel the same if they do that. 90% of the fan-base discussion at the minute is how the show is marketed rather than what is being marketed. We should be enjoying it, but they at best it up so much we're always analysing it. We should, but the problem is at the minute there's nothing to enjoy, there's nothing to really analyse or even talk about. Like, it's just non-existent at the minute. Like, you can't, I'll say it again, I apologise if I'm repeating myself, but you know, when fans are saying, oh, you guys are just ignoring the new era, it's like, you know, we can't talk about something that there's nothing to talk about with. You know, the reason people have been talking about the RTD era is because we know about that. We don't know about Series 13, really. How can you be hyped about Series 13 when we know next to nothing about its release? Exactly my point. Exactly my point. That's basically just summarised my entire point. You can't get hyped up for something you don't know about. And I wish people would, like, stop pretending that, like, you know, not being hyped for Series 13 because there's literally nothing to get hyped over is a crime. I feel so bad for Jodie fans. Like, I'm annoyed and I don't even like this era. Yeah, exactly. I'm in the same boat. I'm not a big fan of this era at all. But I also, like, regardless of Doctor Who, in any of its forms, I always want Doctor Who to do as best as it can. And I feel like some of the decisions being made are actively detrimenting that, and are actively preventing that. And I've got to look at it, you know, it's impossible for me to not look at this from a content creator perspective, because I am, you know, I hate the word, but I am a content creator at the end of the day. And, you know, William, who, if he's still here, he can attest, there is nothing to make videos on, there's nothing to talk about. And people could say, oh, why don't you review the old stuff, why don't you do this? I could review the old stuff. I more than easily could do some classic Who reviews, definitely. But the issue with that is that, like, there's only so many times you could review the same episodes. It comes to a point where if you review old episodes, it feels like everything that has been said has already been said, and you can't really contribute anything new to that discussion. So, like, from a content creator perspective, it sucks because there's just nothing to do. Like, I have to look at it from that point of view as well. Like, you know, I know friends, I've got friends of mine who do mainly Marvel, like, channels and stuff, and they have so much content, like, content out the wazoo, they're constantly got stuff to talk about. Whereas with Doctor Who, it feels like we have to invent things to talk about. Which is why you'll see me making things like leaks, because with those, it actually gives us some talking points. Okay, not everyone likes leaks, but it's very difficult to talk about other things when there's nothing else to talk about. I will talk endlessly about Series 13 when it airs, because I know that I'm going to have to, like, basically get everything out of that while I can, because then we'll have, like, ages of nothing. But until that point, it's kind of just a waiting game for all of us, and it sucks because, you know, we're being told that we need to be excited when there's nothing to be excited over. To be honest, I reckon everyone's hyped for RTD Return far more than Chibnall's last season. They absolutely are. But that's because we know nothing about Chibnall's last season. That's the problem. Rumours are good, but I want more official news. Exactly. I'd love more, like, the people always ask me, they go, Tharius, you know, why do you cover all these leaks? Why don't you just talk about the official news? I would if we got any. You know, like, as soon as we got the official announcement that RTD was coming back, I did my initial reaction to that. It's poor quality because I forgot to switch my microphone over. But you get my point. As soon as there's real news, I'll talk about it. But right now, there just isn't anything. I can't conjure up things that don't exist, you know what I mean? But apart from rumours, we don't get any TV series news in this era. Without rumours, there would be nothing, literally. Yeah, like, people complain about leaks and rumours and stuff. If those videos didn't exist, you lot wouldn't be talking about Series 13 at all, because there's just nothing there. There's nothing there, you know? Like, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about, like, oh, you know, what Vinder's going to do? Like, no one cares, you know? We're 2 months away from the New Year's special. Exactly. We still don't know what's coming out. We know it has to be done before the New Year's special comes along, because, you know, that's when the New Year's special is going to be. But, like, it's just, I think that's the thing as well. There's the argument that people don't want spoilers, but in my view, like, there's nothing spoilery about a release date. Absolutely nothing. There is nothing stopping them from releasing the date. Like, that shouldn't be a big event. It's a date for the show. Like, that should just be a piece of essential information that you should want to give your fan base, your community, the people who are you know, interested in your stuff as soon as possible. You don't want to, like, string them along for months. Like, that's not going to endear yourself to the audience at all. And, like, as well, you know, I've been watching a lot of the old RTD era trailers, and with them, they show things like the Daleks or the Sontarans and stuff, but they don't give you the plot. Like, there is I think people assume that, like, you know, nothing can be spoiled, you know, nothing can be spoiler-free unless it literally shows nothing. Whereas in my view, like, a trailer has to show something. Like, you can show a Dalek or a Sontaran without, you know, getting into spoilers. But they're promoting stuff that isn't the main part of the show, you know, the TV series. So we, the casual audience, should be happy with that. Who cares about the TV show, right? Exactly. This is what annoys me. Because whenever you talk about the lack of marketing for the TV show, people will go, oh, what about Big Finish? And it's like, yeah, that's great, but we're not talking about Big Finish. I think people forget that Doctor Who, at its core, fundamentally, is a TV show. Like, that is what the core of this brand is built upon. And it doesn't feel like, for the majority of the year, that it's the focus when it really should be, you know? It really seems like the BBC are treating Doctor Who as just another show, which is really sad. They should recognise the power of this brand. Exactly. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, I know it sounds cheesy, but Doctor Who isn't just another BBC property. No other BBC property shifts merchandise like Doctor Who can. No other BBC property has such a global, rabid fan base as Doctor Who does. No other BBC property has the global appeal generally that Doctor Who does. No other BBC property has events and cosplaying and audios made by fans. None of that, or fan films. No other BBC property has that level of dedication. So when people, like, compare Doctor Who to other BBC shows and, like, oh, it's just being treated the same way, I'm like, well, that's not how it should be being treated, in my opinion, because it's not the same. The interesting thing about Find the Doctor is that the BBC knows the show needs more marketing. It possibly might be the case that the BBC wanting more promotion, but Chris Chibnall disagrees. I believe that is part of it. I've been told, obviously I can't get into specifics, but I have been told that basically the marketing team want to be doing more stuff. They want to be promoting the show more, but Chibnall's basically like, no, because I said, essentially, that's he's being very controlling over what they can and can't say. Now, I can't say that that's true, but in my view, it would make a hell of a lot of sense. And it would kind of, you know, like, I'd credence the idea of them, you know, getting rid of Chibnall. Perhaps they're just sick of this approach. But it would sound nice 6 for 60th. Oh, wait, what do you mean? 6 for 60th. I'm not sure about that. Maybe Series 13 is so bad that the BBC doesn't even want to promote it. I'm starting to get that feeling. What are we in for with Series 13? Is it just going to be terrible? Because I feel like, you know, at least with Series 12, they weren't ashamed of showing, here's the Cyberman, here's the Jadoon, here's some of the things you could expect. Like, The Series 12 trailer came out a month before the series started. If Series 13 starts on Halloween, maybe we could get a trailer in the next few days. Yeah, and it probably will, but, like, you know, the big question is when. Because, like, I feel like we've been saying that the Series 13 has been, like, trailer's been coming soon for ages now, you know? And by the way, don't misconstrue my anger, like, chat, to you guys. It's not. It's more just that, like, the way this done, it's just a sucky situation. You know, like, why do you think so many, like, Doctor Who YouTubers are just radio silent for months on end? Because there's nothing for us to, like, do or talk about. There just isn't. I heard they are delaying the Doctor Who Edge reality game. By the way, they are. And there's some interesting things about that. I heard, again, can't say who, but someone basically said that the Maze Theory are actually unaware of when Series 13 is airing, because they wanted Edge of Reality to come out basically simultaneously with Series 13, so it was like when people talking about Doctor Who was at its peak. But since they still don't know when it's coming out, they've had to delay it again till, I believe it's the 14th of October, something like that. That's something I've heard, but the official word is because they need more time to develop. But the problem is, I don't think 2 weeks would give them all that much time. Tharius, did you win the bet against Mr. TARDIS? I did. On one of his recent streams, you can see him praising me in the stream for a bit, and I actually went on his stream for a little while and spoke about what I do on here. By the way, just to say it right now, we got 125 people watching. Thank you so much for that. Do me a favour, leave a like on the stream if you've been enjoying my little rant, my little tangent, and subscribe. We're literally, like 80 subscribers away from 8K, so, like, you know, that's less than what I actually have watching right now. So if you aren't subscribed, please do subscribe. I would be most much appreciative. Also, if you want to super chat, absolutely fine. Not forcing you to, though. It's entirely optional. Find the Doctor was underwhelming, not gonna lie. I completely agree. There was nothing good at the end of that either. Like, the thing I always said with Find the Doctor, the thing with Find the Doctor was always going to live or die on what the final outcome, what the result was for it. Like, if what came out of Find the Doctor wasn't good, then it was going to taint the entire thing. And what came out of Find the Doctor, in my opinion, was really, really underwhelming. Series 12 shouldn't be the model for marketing. The ratings... Yeah, exactly! That's the thing, though. It feels like they're not learning from that. Like, I hoped when Series 13 was going to be, like, starting marketing, that they would learn from the mistakes of Series 12. They would learn that, like, waiting a month until the series aired wasn't a good move and that actually it needs more time. But it seems like they've just done the same thing again, and it's like, why? Like, have you not learned anything? Like... just seen there's a new photo on Gallifrey base. Apparently someone in a monster's costume for Series 13. If you want to see it, I'll DM it to you. Absolutely, we could get a live monster on stream. Everyone like the video. Oh man, I swear. Yeah, DM it to me, William. That'd be great. What else was we talking about? The poster... Like, that's the thing. At least with Series 12... Series 12 is actually at least somewhat better in this regard. You know, I'll give it its dues. At least we got a shot of the Jadoon in the Series 12 marketing. Yeah, it was at midnight, and yeah, it was kind of minimal, but at least it was something. We haven't even had that with Series 13. Not gonna lie, the current situation surrounding Series 13 is giving me Rise of Skywalker vibes. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can do see that. What was the point of Find the Doctor? Essentially, just to get people hyped over nothing. Like, there really wasn't enough to justify that event at the end, in my opinion. Like, they did all this cool stuff. They got, like, Doctor Who set up in museums. They got, like, artifacts, real-life artifacts. And then it all culminated in, like, one image. And I was like, oh, yay. 13 on a different coloured background. We haven't had enough of those images of 13 just standing behind a coloured wall. You know? Like, how many times do we have to see that before it just sort of loses its luster? You know, those are the sorts of images that would be exciting in Series 11 when we didn't really know what 13 looked like or what she was going to be. But with her last series, we all know who the 13th Doctor is. She's been here for 3 series at this point. You know what I mean? We're not seeing anything new here. Oh. Willie, if you don't mind me asking, where's that from? I'll put it on stream now. Hang on, I haven't got my bloody window capture set up. I'm on my new PC, So it's all a bit new, this this setup. So I might have to just oh dear. Oh no. Okay, I'll just have to if I swap these around, and then I do this. Oh, here we go. We're doing a live movement, everyone. Live movements. Let's go. Let's go. I'm so unprofessional. This is great. This is like, look at this. You don't get this on Mr. TARDIS, I'll tell you that. So this is apparently the new monster. Very interesting looking fella here. You can sort of see he has a nice teethy face. Actually, this kind of looks like the one in the Series 13 promo. Has anyone got a link to the chat? You can let me know about this. Does anyone have a link to the Find the Doctor, the final bit, where we see the monster's face? Does anyone have a link to that that thing? I think Richard Lloyd did a thread on it, didn't he? Someone, if you can, send me a link to that thing in Find the Doctor, because that looks basically identical to that. Hey yo, it's Nardole. Yeah, fucking hell. Oh my god. Yeah, so like, I'll get a zoom in here. Like, you can get a shot here. It's kind of got these like sort of eyes with like the sort of circular like patches, kind of like sort of like a patch type design. It looks very similar to me to the monster that was seen in the Series 13 teaser, little Find the Doctor thing, with the jagged teeth as well. No idea what this guy could be. Could be literally anything. William, where exactly was this from? Is it like an Instagram or something like that? From Gallifrey base. I'll send you a link to the thread. Okay, thank. That'd be fantastic. I mean, at least we got some form of marketing during this stream. I mean, it wasn't official, but it was something. I re-uploaded the Find the Doctor thing on my channel. Okay, do me a favour, DM me on Twitter at TharesYT here. Also, I did like a little thing here because there was like someone basically saying that on Twitter that you know, there's people complaining about a release date. Maybe the BBC are doing their job, and I was just like, if you think people if you unironically think people not knowing when your product is out is a good marketing strategy, then IDK what to tell you. That's kind of my view on that. Like, people not knowing when your product's coming out is not a good marketing move. But yeah, this is the new monster for those who are just joining us. It's kind of a sort of weird gargoyle goblin sort of design. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, here's the Gallifrey base link. I doubt this is fake because, you know, why would it be, I guess. But, okay. Quite true, quite... Okay, so this is the thread. I'm guessing this is after. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that talks about it directly, unless it's right at the bottom. Oh, here we go. Does anyone recognise this creature? It sort of resembled the monster seen in the Find the Doctor clip, that's what I thought. It looks a lot furrier, a different colour, and less scary, so I thought it might be from another past show or film, though I can't place it. Okay, so I'm going to go on the next. Is there another page? Okay, no, that's it. Alright. So, yeah, that's all we know about this guy, this new thing. Okay, so for comparison, someone's DM'd me. Sorry if I'm leaking my DMs here. Hang on. Here we go, right. So if you can see here, it ends with this eye and these teeth. Hang on, where's the teeth? Or was it just the eye? No, I swear it should. Oh yeah, it does there. So is the mouth. So these teeth and those eyes, it's not identical, but it is pretty close. And I'd say as well, you know, they probably add like post effects and stuff as well. So that's interesting. I'd assume that they're the same thing. They look very similar. Hey Jack Wolf, how you doing? We're just having a bit of a moan. You know, that's novel, isn't it? Me complaining about Doctor Who. Who'd have thunk it? It seems to me they're just trying to quickly sweep Series 13 under the rug and quickly move on. That is the vibe I get. That is absolutely 100% the vibe I'm getting. You know what? I'm just going to tweet out this new monster. Copy image. Just going to tweet this out. Is this the monster from #FindTheDoctor? There we go. Darius, what do you predict will happen in Series 13? Honestly, no idea. There's a lot of leaks, a lot of things that I think could probably happen, but it's all too long to probably put into this stream now. But you know, I probably might do something like that in the future. Who knows? Talking about my I personally think the BBC are quietly trying to distance themselves from the current era, seeing as it's so divisive. I wouldn't be surprised if Series 13 retcons a lot of things fans hated. I also wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. I'm gonna put my face back in now because that was basically, unless something else comes out that anyone wants to bring to my attention. I mean, if someone said in the chat that they're expecting a trailer at 6:30, and while I don't believe that'll happen, maybe I'll stay on just to see if it does. Who knows? We'll get the first look, shall we? That might be fun. I doubt it though. Wait, hang on. I thought those eyes in the trailer belonged to a Sontaran. I mean, that was what was speculated, but that was never confirmed. I mean, you know, to be honest, I never really thought it looked like a Sontaran. I just kind of sort of put that in the thumbnail because that's what a lot of people were saying. But I think it could be just anything, you know. You know, like it's words. You know, it could just be just anything. What are you guys saying in chat? Let's have a look here. Do you think past companions will come back? This series specifically, Series 13 specifically, no. The next era probably, because it's the new RTD era. I wouldn't be surprised if an RTD era companion came back. They will drop this era, and the Timeless Child won't be the Doctor. I think you're probably right. I don't think Russell will go as far to decanonize as such the Timeless Child, but I do think he will at the very least sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of ignore it, kind of the same way as he did with the half-human thing in the movie in the 90s. You know, he kind of did that then. I see no reason why it wouldn't be the same now. Cool, blimey, we're seeing Darius tweet real time. I know, you're getting POV shots. Look at that. You know, it's half my day. I think the trailer's coming out on the 13th of October, 14th of October is the magazine, 15th of October is Graham Norton. It could be, but I think like if it's coming out at the end of October, then putting it out mid-October feels like a little last minute. I think, in my view, this is my thing, right? If the Series 13 trailer comes out, 2 weeks before, rather than a month, which has been the norm with this era, like the release date trailer I'm talking about now. If that comes out 2 weeks before, then in my view, that's kind of the proof I would need that they're kind of just trying to quietly shuffle this out. I bet the BBC think that Series 13 probably won't be a rating success, so that's why they don't seem to show much care for it. Could well be the case. Will River's song ever come back? I mean, personally for me, I don't really see much of a reason for her to. Like, you know, she's kind of served her purpose narratively. But, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to bring her back at some point. But I don't personally see a reason for it myself. We have more the Series 14 news than Series 13. Yeah, unironically, yeah. Like, that's the point. I think, as I said, it says a lot that, we're more excited for a series in 2023 or 2024 than we are about the one that comes out next month. Says a lot. I was going to say something though. Also, I like to do this every stream. Just do me a favour, drop in, where you're watching this from. I always like to know. It's always really interesting to see what parts of the world are watching these videos. Obviously, you don't have to be specific. I'm not asking for your addresses or your credit card numbers or anything. No, just, but you don't have to, of course. Google Doctor Who and look at the cast. The descriptions are wrong. Are they? Wait. Are they? Doctor Who. Cast. Oh, yeah. Though this is still a thing. Okay, so someone relisted all the other Doctors as basically the fugitive Doctor for some reason. I think it was just a prank. But yes, that it was a thing that happened. Theories, I don't think they can show much for marketing because the series relies on big shock factors for entertainment. The thing is, though, I'm not asking for them to, like, reveal their big shocks, but I don't think showing, like, a Sontaran out of context would do a lot to spoil anything, really, in my view. Okay, so we got Ohio, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, space, very cool, Brazil, Bournemouth, Seattle, wow, hello from Seattle, Bristol, Boreal, south of England, from my kitchen, very nice, Scotland, Kent, Scotland, lots of people from Scotland, we love this, we love Scotland here, you know. I'm watching this in my living room, about to virtually meet up with people I went on the first Scottish school exchange to Oxford. Very cool. Scotland. Oh, hi, John, I should say. I don't know why I said John then. I think it was because I'm used to saying that as a joke on these streams, so people know that people think your name's John, not Sean. And surely if Series 13 airs on October 31st, then the Doctor Who magazine issue would have the previews. Surely we must have a trailer before then. You'd think so, wouldn't you? You really would think so. Leaks are the news. I am Lamau. Exactly, that's the thing. But that's the thing. People say, "Oh, don't, cover the leaks." It's like, well, if I didn't, I wouldn't cover anything. You know, like because there's nothing to cover. So. Kind of an unpopular opinion, but my choice for 14th Doctor is Chris Marshall. I just kind of don't want him, not because I think he'd necessarily be awful, but more because I just don't want the tabloids to get it right ever. I don't think every episode is super connected, maybe a little bit. Yeah, I think people overestimated when the announcement was made that it was going to be one continuous story, that literally every episode was going to focus on that, like, narrative. I feel like what they mean is more kind of the Series 12 approach minus the filler episodes, where it's like, okay, you might get a cool twist at the end of one of the episodes or something like that each time or something. Yeah, I did see the image, you tagged me and I just saw that. I'll give it a like. Yeah, there you go. But, Martin should be the 14th Doctor. I think she's a good choice, but I don't think we'll get it now because of Russell coming back. I really wonder what the story arc will be in Doctor Who Series 13. I wonder as well, because we're none the wiser at the moment. I actually like the new Master that we got, because it reminds me of the 10th Master and the War Master. Fair enough, I do quite like Sacha Dhawan as the Master. I do agree. Would love Jodie Comer to be the 14th Doctor. Maybe. But yeah, with the Series 13 marketing, it really needs to be getting, like, better now. That's the bottom line of this. You know, like, shows at a certain point, they have, there's only so many times, basically what I'm trying to say, there's only so many times you can say coming soon or coming later this year until you've kind of got to say when, you know? That's my point, really. Let me just see. Someone tweeted something, and I wanted to see what they tweeted because I wasn't sure what it said. So, what are you guys saying? I'm wondering if RTD will do some Series 1 to 4 style mystery box arcs again, or if he'll just go, or if he'll have something more complex. Also, hi, glad I made it. Thanks for coming by, George. Always love to see you. I think it's possible he could do the mystery arc thing, or something completely new. I think the thing with, here's my assumption with the new RTD era. I think what he will do is he'll kind of do the things he didn't get a chance to do before. So, for example, in his era, he kind of played it relatively safe with returning monsters, Daleks, Cybermen, Masters, stuff like that. Obviously, we did get things like the Autons and the Macra as well, but they were kind of in smaller roles. So I could see him maybe digging more into the catalogue of classic monsters that perhaps he didn't get the chance to do. I could also see, a new type of more mechanical TARDIS, because his TARDIS in his era was very organic, so I could see him doing the reverse for his next era. I think it's definitely a possibility that we'll cast a woman or a person of colour, because he didn't get to do that in his last era, as the Doctor I'm on about now, not as a companion, because he obviously did have a POC companion who was wonderful, Martha Jones. How are you doing, Mr. Tharris? I'm doing alright, Bubble Hat Boy, thanks for asking. There's a rumour that he wanted to do something that he did in a novel. I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of the RTD era has like kind of inspiration from novels and Big Finish and stuff, so yeah, wouldn't surprise me at all. Right, not to flex, but I'm now having pizza. Oh, you lucky thing. Isn't Maxine Alderson a core writer for Series 13? But yes, I believe she is. Sorry, mate. I got a really itchy nose. And this is an itchy nose, by the way. People keep taking screenshots of it and saying, oh, he's picking his nose. I'm just itchy. Okay? What was that other thing that someone was asking? I lost it then. Someone said something interesting. Oh, yes, she is a core writer on Series 13. She wrote the best episode of the Chibnall era so far. I agree. And yes, so that does give me some hope for Series 13. A bit. What else? Someone else said something interesting. How is SFX Magazine next cover? Has SFX Magazine next cover been revealed yet? Just because that is normally out early October, and if Doctor Who is Halloween, it should be on the cover. Maybe the signs are pointing to November now. I don't believe they've shown their next cover, have they? Like, they normally, I've normally sort of seen it by now if they have, but, yeah, this whole thing is just, I don't know. I just don't know. I think the thing is, if it's November, the only issue I take with that is that it won't be wrapped up till mid-December, and I can't see them, having Doctor Who run till, almost Christmas. I feel like it has to start late October. BBC will force him to make it I don't mean to burst your bubble, Renegade Time Lord, but RTD's a very politically charged writer. I don't think there'll be any forcing involved there. Just go watch Years and Years. It's a very politically charged show, and quite by design. I don't think the BBC will be forcing him to do politics at all. I think, if anything, he will welcome them. And I think that's fine as long as it's written well. I think that's what the main focus should always be for a series of television. Bloody hell, reality got pushed back the date it was meant to release. It did, yeah. The title chart must be retconned. It cannot be the Doctor. I wouldn't be surprised if Series 13 does do something different with it, but I feel like, as I said sort of earlier on the stream, it'll kind of just probably end up like the half-human thing where it's just kind of ignored. Maxine Alderton's online CV no longer says core writer for Series 13. The same with Ed Hine. Interesting. Maybe they just didn't want to spoil anything. Maybe Moffat was like, not Moffat, Chibnall was like, you spoiled something about my series. That was a joke, by the way. I'm not saying that Chibnall incites physical violence upon anyone, but you get my point. Theories, I don't think Stephen Moffat is a bad writer if he has a lot of time. I agree. I'd love it if Moffat came back to do a couple of one-offs for the next RTD era. Can't wait for RTD to actually give the Daleks a return to form. Same. I'm really looking forward to his handling of the Daleks again. He's one of the best writers to ever do it. I think he'll bring the Daleks back into full form. We'll get more Slovene, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Time's Child, it must be retcon. We need more episodes like Love and Monsters. By Love and Monsters, I assume you mean Dr. Lights, and which I wouldn't be opposed to. Doctor Who should get with the times and release all the episodes at once. Personally, for me, I wouldn't want that, if only because I think by releasing a series all at once with cliffhangers, then you kind of devalue the impact of those cliffhangers if you have to wait. If you could just watch the next episode instantaneously. The cliffhangers don't feel as hard-hitting if you could just go watch how they play out. And if this is as connected as we're led to believe, I think it would be make more sense than ever for it to release weekly, as was done with 11 and 12. I'm excited to see if RTD brings back some more classic monsters. He always handled them well in his era, and it would be dope seeing him handle some of the more obscure C-listers who haven't had their turn. I agree completely, and I think he probably will. I want Paul Cornell in season 14. I would definitely be down to see a Paul Cornell story. Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see, what the writing team for series 14 consists of, really. Like, whether it'll be newcomers mostly, or he's returning, or a bit of both. Hopefully, I think a bit of both would be like the nice middle ground. But let's get back onto the topic. The reason I put the RTD thing on the thumbnail for this is because it kind of has been overshadowing Series 13 news, which it definitely has, and it even has in this live stream to a point, because we've all just started talking about that now, so it kind of just proves my point, if nothing else, that we've all just started moved on. And I'm not saying that's chat's fault, I'm just saying that it kind of proves my hypothesis, really. Yeah, I really want to see RTD go more political in his next era. Years and Years shows he can really do it, and I really want the show to use the ridiculousness of politics recently to tell stories. I agree completely. And I'll say one thing about Years and Years. I am planning on doing a full video on what I'm expecting from the RTD era 2, and I'm planning on doing it with a guest. But I will say, Years and Years gave me confidence that Murray Gold could do the job again, because his music for Years and Years felt unique, but also it had a bit of a Doctor Who twang to it, is the only way I could really describe it. So yeah, I would absolutely be down for a Murray Gold return now. I know that some people like Sagan, but personally for me, Murray Gold's just the GOAT. RTD to be a stopgap until Sally Wainwright is available. Maybe. I'm still not confident in that whole Sally Wainwright thing, mainly because she literally said that she doesn't really like writing sci-fi, and I feel like getting someone to run Doctor Who doesn't like sci-fi might not be the best idea. Doctor Who has such creative potential for marketing. Any marketing person could do something interesting with promoting Doctor Who. It's clearly just got no money behind it. Yeah, but I also just think, I also can't help but think it's perhaps they're being told they can't do anything, Years and Years. Okay, Years and Years was one of RTD's recent dramas that he did after Doctor Who. It's basically, imagine Turn Left as an entire series, where basically everything in the world goes wrong. That's basically what Years and Years is. It's a fantastic show, got great cast, Emma Thompson, Russell Tovey, Lydia West, Tina Miller, some of the names of which have been suggested for 14. Would absolutely recommend. I've got to watch Years and Years still. Oh my god, we got a fire alarm going. Is that a fire alarm? Or is it just a beep? Am I going to die? I think we're okay. But yeah, Years and Years would absolutely recommend. Plenty of other good composers out there. No need to fall back on Murray Gold. I'm not going to disagree, but I still think Murray Gold, I'd like to see him have one more crack at it. I don't know what that beeping is. I think I might be about to die. Hang on, what is that? I genuinely have no idea what that was. Paul Cornell as a showrunner would be a dream for me. He would be pretty great. But listen, I think I'll wrap this up here. What I'll say, final closing statement. There needs to be more marketing. I know I'm in no way a professional, man, but ultimately, people can't get excited for a series they know nothing about. If you want people's focus to be on Series 13, then make us care about Series 13. If you don't, then just admit that, I guess. I don't think they don't want to. I just think they're not bothered. I don't know. It's really strange. But I'm going to end this stream here. But thank you for watching. And I'll see you in a bit. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. Ooh.